Just a little more love, just a little more peace is all it takes to live a dream. Walk hand in hand, got to understand, and one day soon we'll live in harmony.
I remember very well the first time I came to Ibiza. It was in '95, and I was completely shocked. Being in France, I knew Saint-Tropez for the summer, and I felt like this was the absolute maximum party place. There was house music being played in Saint-Tropez in '88, so that was like pretty early. But still, when I went to Ibiza, I was like, what? Like, I was completely blown away. I remember coming back, and in '96, something incredible happened to me. I was not a famous DJ, and in '96, I was playing Bataclan, and the owner of Space, Pepe, came to see me and said, I love your music, you should come play at Space. That's really crazy because at that time, no one knew me really. My production was totally unknown. I was a famous DJ in Paris, but not worldwide. And the year after, I played my first show at Space. Funny enough, that day it was an open air show, and that day it was raining, and there was also police controlling everyone at the entrance of this after party club. So it was almost empty. So I came back crying home. It was really a massive deception for me, and I was very sad, but he loved the music. I want you to do another night. And that time, the weather was good and it was packed. So this is how Ibiza started. And then later I did parties at Pacha, and we were organizing this together with my ex-wife, Cathy, and we were doing the promotion ourselves. So you would find me every day on the different beaches, giving flyers, dancing, playing music, putting posters myself everywhere, climbing the trees to put the posters. Every single day, every single night, I would be on the parking spaces of the different clubs, and I would put my flyers even in the clubs of competition, so they would run after me to beat me up. And I've done it all. And then in '97, I was playing in Paris. I was friends with Daft Punk because they would always come to my shows. And '97 was the year of Around the World and the album Homework. So I went to the Privilege, biggest club in the world, and I told them I want to do a party here. They gave me a shit day that was anyway empty, but they were kind of laughing a little bit that, you know, I was doing this night, and they were definitely not expecting that I was gonna fill the club. And we were on the different beaches with Ghetto Blasters playing Around the World and saying, this is French, this is a new band, it's gonna change the world, you need to come, it's gonna be amazing. And the name is Daft Punk. You know, it was really the beginning of French Touch, and it was the year that it was happening. So people didn't know the name of the bands, all of this, but they knew the music, and everyone wanted a piece of that. And it's very funny because the years before, when I was doing my promotion, people would almost laugh at me. I remember, what? Like, you're French? There's a scene in France, you know? And then from that moment, thanks to Daft Punk, being French was like, wow, oh, you're French, amazing, we're coming. So this is how it started to be big. And from there, I started to have nights everywhere, a little bit at Amnesia, a little bit at Pacha, a little bit at Privilege. I was playing Manumission also. That was the best party on the island. And then I started my own nights, Fuck Me I'm Famous, together with my ex-wife. And that helped my career a lot. What's funny is that I was running a club in Paris called Les Bains Douches. And we were doing this together with my ex-wife. And it was really a VIP club. So you had all the artists coming, all the celebrities. It was not about money, but it was a lot about being cool and fame and being an artist. It was really crazy. You had like Prince playing private concerts in our club, Madonna, like all the supermodels. It was really crazy. And I was always looking at this game around celebrities. And at the time I wasn't famous. And I really used that term to take the piss. It was almost like a self-joke about our life. And I never thought I was gonna become famous. So it was really like laughing at this lifestyle when it became mine later. So it's kind of ironic. And at the end of Fuck Me I'm Famous, I was famous because I had hit records and people started to think that I was like serious about it, which is crazy. And I think it was fun because there was this double meaning. Is it like, fuck me, I'm famous? Or is it like, fuck me, I'm famous?
I just wanna let it go for the night. That would be the best therapy for me. All the crazy shit I did tonight, those will be the best memories.
There's something special about Ibiza that you don't find anywhere else in the world. There is a musical culture that is so strong and a history that is so strong because the island started with the hippies and in the 70s, and you know, like Pacha at the time of Franco, it was a dictatorship. They were not allowed to play this type of music. It's crazy, but they were like smuggling records from America and from the UK into the island. And because it was Ibiza, you know, the authorities were not looking too much at what was going on. So they opened that club, you know, one of the owners was playing the music, the other one was at the door. They created Pacha from a farm, and that's incredible. And that hippie heritage, that sense of freedom, of not being judged, of being able to be whoever you want, at the time that was so unique in the world, you know, and I love this, you know. For me, it was the beginning of house music. I started to play house music in '88 in France, but I think we were like two DJs, Laurent Garnier and myself, who played this type of music at the time. And you know, then you come to Ibiza and it's everywhere. And I'm like, what? It's paradise, you know? And also feeling like I can play the music I want and people understand me. Whereas in Paris, at the beginning, it was really a struggle to be able to play house music. Pacha was really very much in advance because they were doing incredibly cool DJs, but they had table service. And at the time, this didn't exist. You know, you would do table service and play VIP music that was really top 50, you know, playing a little bit old style, or you would have raves with super cool music but no service. So Pacha came with this approach of having a sort of selection in the clientele, having a VIP service, but with the highest quality of music and DJs. It still felt a little bit like a finca, a farm. You know, the DJ booth was not on stage. It was a bit of a mess, but there was a magic in it. I started by doing Ushuaia, but I kept Pacha. And then I stopped Pacha to go to high. I had Fuck Me I'm Famous at Pacha, and I moved it to high, which was a huge challenge because all my life I was at Pacha, and now I was gonna have 2 parties a week. That's crazy. So, you know, I'm the only DJ in Ibiza that has 2 nights every week. And also I start the season at the beginning and until the end. So it's challenging. And it worked amazing. I discovered an incredible team. They happen to be French. And funny enough, Ushuaia, the guy, Jan, used to organize the craziest after parties in Barcelona. And I used to go there to party or sometimes to play. And I could not believe that the same guy would have a club that would be so established, because that after party was completely insane. So he brought that creative approach that he had, but he teamed up with people from Ibiza, and they created Ushuaia together. And that club for me is really life-changing. It is having a stage that, you know, makes you feel like a concert or a festival, but within a club. The challenge for me was to move from Pacha to high, again because of Jan's brother, Romain. The production was crazy, which I was missing at Pacha. And yeah, we got very successful.